Pretty Woman arrived in March 1990 as Touchstone Pictures distributed what would become one of the most commercially successful romantic comedies in cinema history. Director Gary Marshall brought extensive experience from television work on Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley to his sixth theatrical feature following the dramatic film Beaches in 1988. The production budget of $14 million supported location shooting throughout Los Angeles and enabled Marshall to assemble a skilled technical team, including cinematographer Charles Minsky, costume designer Marilyn Vance, and composer James Newton Howard. The narrative follows Edward Lewis, a successful corporate raider, visiting Los Angeles to finalize the acquisition of a struggling shipbuilding company owned by James Morse. After his girlfriend Jessica breaks up with him during a Beverly Hills party, Edward becomes lost while driving Philip Stuckey's Lotus Esprit and encounters Vivian Ward, a Hollywood Boulevard sex worker who directs him to his hotel, the Beverly Wilshire. Impressed by her straightforward manner and knowledge of cars, Edward impulsively hires Vivian to accompany him to business and social functions throughout the week. Their arrangement evolves from transactional to genuine, as Vivian's authenticity challenges Edward's emotional detachment and his destructive business practices. The relationship deepens through a series of encounters, including shopping expeditions, a polo match, and attendance at La Traviata. When Edward offers to establish Vivian as his mistress in an apartment, she refuses, having recognized her own worth. The film concludes with Edward overcoming his fear of emotional commitment and ascending to Vivian's apartment, offering her the romantic partnership she deserves. The production filmed with principal photography at locations including the Beverly Wilshire Hotel exterior, Rodeo Drive boutiques, and various Los Angeles landmarks. Interiors were shot at the Ambassador Hotel, demolition of which began in 2005 and completed in early 2006. The opera sequence required multiple locations. Exterior shots used Carnegie Music Hall in Pittsburgh. The lobby was filmed at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, and the theater interior was constructed at Walt Disney Studios, Soundstage in Burbank. Lotus Cars supplied the 1989 Esprit, after Ferrari and Porsche declined product placement opportunities. Marshall encouraged improvisation throughout filming, resulting in several spontaneous moments, including the jewelry box scene, where Richard Gere improvised closing the case on Julia Roberts' fingers, capturing her genuine laugh. Initial viewing suggests Pretty Woman might classify as culture-infused or world-centric, based on its engagement with class dynamics, corporate culture, and sex work as social institutions. The film depicts distinct social strata, from Hollywood Boulevard's red light district to Beverly Hills high society, with Vivian navigating between these worlds. Edward's profession as corporate raider connects to specific 1980s business practices following the Wall Street crash of 1987. The Rodeo Drive sequence, where saleswomen refuse service based on Vivian's appearance, addresses class prejudice. The power dynamics between the wealthy businessman and the sex worker suggest potential for cultural commentary on gender, economics, and social structures. The visual approach reinforces this impression through costume design that marks class distinctions. Vivian's transformation, from provocative streetwear to elegant designer clothing, appears to chart cultural navigation and social mobility. The contrast between locations, from the gritty Hollywood Boulevard to the opulent Beverly Wilshire Hotel, establishes cultural territories that characters must navigate. The business subplot involving Morse Industries and Edward's corporate raiding practices introduces economic systems and professional hierarchies that could drive cultural examination. Deeper examination reveals Pretty Woman functions as entertainment-driven storytelling. The film uses class differences, corporate culture, and social hierarchies as atmospheric elements that create dramatic tension and romantic obstacles, without requiring authentic cultural exploration or systematic examination. Universal romantic themes dominate over specific cultural critique. The fairy tale framework, explicitly referenced through Vivian's dialogue, she rescues him right back, positions the narrative as wish fulfillment focused on emotional satisfaction. Cultural elements serve the romance and provide plot mechanics without driving character development authentically. Edward's corporate raider profession, establishes his wealth and creates his moral conflict, but functions as plot device. Similarly, Vivian's profession creates the class barrier necessary for the romantic arc, but receives no substantive cultural exploration. The film could transplant these elements to different settings, different professions, and different time periods without fundamentally altering the core narrative about two emotionally damaged people finding connection through love. The Cinderella structure, Pygmalion parallels, and La Traviata mirroring all reinforce the fairy tale approach that prioritizes romantic satisfaction over cultural authenticity. The resolution confirms entertainment-driven classification through its focus on personal romantic fulfillment. Edward's decision to partner with James Morse in building ships represents personal moral redemption, serving his character arc. Vivian's transformation validates her worth through Edward's recognition and her own self-determination. The finale, where Edward overcomes his fear of heights and commitment to reach Vivian's apartment, literalizes the mutual rescue theme while delivering pure romantic satisfaction. Universal romantic idealism, individual transformation through love, and fairy tale wish fulfillment take precedence over specific cultural exploration or authentic institutional engagement. The creative vision emerged from deliberate transformation of source material toward commercial entertainment. Screenwriter J.F. Lawton originally conceived a dark drama titled 3000, referencing the payment amount influenced by his experiences living near Hollywood Boulevard among sex workers. His original script featured a drug-addicted protagonist and concluded with the businessman abandoning her on Hollywood Boulevard with cash, functioning as what Lawton described as an indictment of predatory capitalism. Walt Disney Studios acquired the screenplay, and President Jeffrey Katzenberg mandated its reimagining as modern fairy tale. Director Gary Marshall supervised the transformation through 5 different writers, positioning the material as romantic entertainment with broad commercial appeal. Marshall's directorial approach reflected his extensive background in populist television comedy and his commitment to accessible storytelling with emotionally satisfying resolutions. This vision guided the transformation from Lawton's social critique to mainstream romantic fantasy. Marshall stated he envisioned the story as being about someone who wanted to change her life and succeeded in doing so, framing the material as aspirational. Disney's involvement ensured alignment with mainstream sensibilities and maximum audience accessibility. The casting of Richard Gere, fresh from his work in internal affairs, brought established star power and romantic leading man credibility to the Edward Lewis role. The technical execution served entertainment priority comprehensively. Location shooting at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, Rodeo Drive, boutiques, and polo grounds created visual appeal and emphasized glamorous lifestyle aspirations. Costume designer Marilyn Vance crafted Vivian's wardrobe progression to signal transformation through elegant clothing choices, with the red opera gown becoming particularly iconic. Cinematographer Charles Minsky emphasized romance and intimacy through close-ups, capturing chemistry between leads, while wide shots established contrast between locations. Composer James Newton Howard's score heightened emotional impact and romantic atmosphere throughout key sequences, supporting the fairy tale tone Marshall cultivated. Production decisions consistently prioritized entertainment value and romantic satisfaction over cultural authenticity or social examination. The narrative structure follows classical romantic comedy conventions with compressed timeline enabling relationship development through carefully constructed set pieces. The initial negotiation scene establishes the transactional arrangement with Vivian's proposal. "You could pay me, we could work out a deal," and Edward's acceptance creating their week-long agreement. The late-night piano scene reveals Edward's interior emotional life as he plays a melancholy piece he composed himself, demonstrating vulnerability beneath his businessman exterior. The escargot dinner provides fish-out-of-water comedy as Vivian navigates unfamiliar high-society dining customs. The opera sequence delivers emotional breakthrough when Vivian weeps at recognizing her own situation, mirrored in Violetta's story from La Traviata. Character dynamics develop through contrasting interactions, revealing personality and creating chemistry. Edward's conversation with former girlfriend Jessica establishes his emotional unavailability and pattern of compartmentalizing relationships. His business dealings with lawyer Philip Stuckey demonstrate professional detachment that mirrors his personal isolation. Vivian's friendship with Kit DeLuca provides grounding through Kit's protective attitude. Hotel manager Barney Thompson offers mentorship and gentle guidance, while helping Vivian navigate high society customs with dignity. The antagonism between Edward and Philip intensifies throughout, culminating in Philip's attempted assault on Vivian and Edward's protective violent response. These secondary relationships support the central romance, while providing tonal variety. Dialogue and performance contributions shape characters beyond archetypal roles. Vivian's street-smart toughness emerges in early exchanges, balanced by vulnerability in quieter moments. Her declaration, "I want the fairy tale," articulates both her character's desire and the film's thematic core. Edward's reserved businessman exterior gradually softens through interactions with Vivian. Julia Roberts' performance captured what audiences responded to most strongly, combining charm with emotional authenticity in transformation sequences and romantic moments. The chemistry between leads drove the film's success, with improvised interactions creating warmth that made the fairy tale convincing to mainstream audiences seeking romantic wish fulfillment. The business negotiations surrounding Morse Industries provide the first key story thread demonstrating narrative craftsmanship. Edward's initial plan involves purchasing James Morse's struggling shipbuilding company and dismantling it for profit through selling component parts. This corporate raiding practice establishes Edward's professional approach while creating parallel between his business method and personal life, both characterized by acquisition without emotional attachment. Vivian's influence gradually alters Edward's perspective on the Morse transaction. His growing respect for James Morse and recognition of the company's human dimension lead to his climactic decision to tell Morse, "I'm going to finish this deal, but not the way I'd planned. I'm going to build things for a change," and partner in constructing ships. This resolution serves Edward's character arc, transforming destructive business practice into constructive partnership, while demonstrating how personal connection enables moral growth. The transformation narrative forms the second essential story thread, manifesting externally through Vivian's appearance and internally through her claimed self-worth. The shopping montage sequence following the Rodeo Drive saleswoman's initial refusal demonstrates external change as Barney Thompson accompanies Vivian to select appropriate attire for Edward's business functions. The cultural exposure through attendance at polo matches and the opera provides situational learning moments. Vivian's command of the dinner conversation when she discusses Verdi and reveals her knowledge of La Traviata's narrative demonstrates intellectual capability. Her triumphant return to the boutique delivers vindication through her famous declaration, "Big mistake. Big, huge, I have to go shopping now." When confronting the saleswomen who dismissed her, the transformation culminates in multiple dimensions as Vivian's completed external metamorphosis reflects her internal journey toward recognizing inherent worth, independent of Edward's validation. Social position. The mutual rescue theme develops as the third vital story thread, inverting traditional fairy tale dynamics while maintaining romantic satisfaction. The film closes with a street performer, referred to as the Happy Man, declaring, "Welcome to Hollywood. What's your dream? Everybody comes here. This is Hollywood, land of dreams," with Vivian explaining to Edward that she rescues him in return. Edward's rescue of Vivian from her circumstances follows conventional patterns, with his wealth and status enabling her escape from Hollywood Boulevard. The narrative complicates this dynamic by establishing Edward's own need for rescue from emotional isolation and destructive business practices. Vivian's authenticity and emotional openness enable Edward's transformation from detached businessman to person capable of love and moral choice. The romantic culmination, where Edward confronts his fear of heights to reach Vivian's apartment, inverts the traditional tower rescue imagery, symbolizing reciprocal salvation. This thread provides emotional depth, while serving entertainment purpose of wish fulfillment and romantic satisfaction central to genre conventions. Pretty Woman opened to mixed critical response, but immediate commercial success, earning over $463 million worldwide and becoming the third highest-grossing film of 1990. Critics divided along predictable lines regarding the film's merits and approach. The film achieved the highest ticket sales for a romantic comedy in United States history, with estimated domestic sales of 42,176,400 tickets. Julia Roberts received significant awards recognition for her performance, winning the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy, and earning Academy Award BAFTA and additional Golden Globe nominations. The film itself received BAFTA nomination for Best Film and Golden Globe nomination for Best Picture in the Musical or Comedy category. Roberts' star-making turn became central to the film's marketing and reception, with her performance elevating the material through charm and emotional authenticity that made the romantic fantasy convincing to mainstream audiences. The American Film Institute later included Pretty Woman on its 100 Years, 100 Passions list at position 21, indicating enduring cultural presence. The red dress from the opera sequence became iconic fashion reference, and the film's quotable moments entered popular culture vernacular. Negative reviews focused on the film's treatment of sex work and class dynamics. But over the decades, critical reception evolved, with some reviewers reconsidering their initial assessments. The film generated substantial feminist and academic criticism regarding its portrayal of sex work, gender dynamics, and consumerism as transformation mechanism. Some extreme critiques characterized the work as one of the most misogynist, patriarchal, classist, consumerist, and lookist movies ever to come out of Hollywood, though these represent fringe positions. Others have expressed concern that prostitution is treated with sympathy rather than condemnation, as the film doesn't explicitly condemn the behavior as sinful, nor present it as morally problematic. The enduring popularity demonstrated through continued viewings, cultural references, and successful theatrical adaptation confirmed the film's achievement of its primary purpose, delivering romantic satisfaction to broad audiences. International success and cultural adaptations demonstrated the story's transplantability, with universal romantic themes functioning across different cultural contexts. The film's influence on romantic comedy genre conventions and its establishment of Julia Roberts as major star represent its lasting industry impact beyond immediate commercial performance. Pretty Woman stands as entertainment-driven storytelling through its strategic transformation of dark source material into mainstream romantic fantasy designed for broad commercial appeal and maximum for audience accessibility. The film's success demonstrates how cultural elements like wealth disparity, corporate practices, and professional hierarchies can provide atmospheric context for universal romantic themes without becoming the work's primary focus or requiring authentic cultural exploration. Gary Marshall's directorial approach prioritized accessible storytelling and wish fulfillment over social commentary or cultural authenticity, creating a fairy tale that acknowledged contemporary realities while maintaining optimistic escapism and emotionally satisfying resolution. The film's lasting cultural significance derives from this entertainment-first approach, which allowed Julia Roberts' star-making performance and the central romantic chemistry to resonate across different audience demographics seeking romantic satisfaction. While the business world and class differences provide plot mechanics and dramatic obstacles, the narrative centers on transformation through love, mutual rescue, and romantic fulfillment, following classical genre conventions. The film's influence on the romantic comedy genre, its continued popularity through multiple generations, and its successful theatrical adaptation confirm its achievement in delivering the romantic wish fulfillment it set out to provide, establishing a template for modern mainstream romantic films that blend contemporary settings with timeless fairy tale fantasy elements and universal emotional appeals. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. Also, check out our other episodes. We'll see you next time.